Welcome in to a very special NBA Conference Finals episode of the St0ner Sports Radio podcast. Joining me once again is friend and co-host Zach Huffman, back in the Huffman Cave. We've got Game 3 tonight of Oklahoma City and Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Finals featuring the Knicks and the Pacers has been a good one. We'll get you updated on that. We'll have Zach's playoff prediction and Thunder update simultaneously. Quick episode for y'all. You could call it episode 99 and a quarter, as we are barreling towards episode 100 special. We'll have some extra special stuff as college football is officially 100 days away from kickoff in the land that God promised college football to exceed in. That's right, Norman, Oklahoma, 100 days from kickoff officially. Zach, how we doing on this Be Happy Saturday?
I mean, hey, you know what? Actually, we're up 2-0. What's there to be happy about? It's nothing to be happy about. Job's not finished. Job's not finished. Hey, things are looking up in OKC right now. I don't think we've ever had a team this good. I don't think we have. I think this team is the greatest Thunder team we've ever seen. I'm gonna say it. He's won the MVP. SGA is the greatest Thunder player ever. He is. He's better than Russ. He is. He just is. And I rest my case. He's going to win the ring. He's winning the ring. God damn it. We're winning the fucking chip.
It looks like it's happening. It's becoming more and more of a realization. Last time we were talking to you all, we had the Knicks and the Celtics going on, and the Celtics are getting absolutely hammered as we were laughing our way to an Eastern Conference matchup between the Pacers and the Knicks. And let's just start over here, Zach. I mean, this series with the Knicks and Pacers has kind of been very cinematic, right? This has been absolute cinema out in the Garden of Madison Square. Take us back to Game 1. Huge deficit, not a lot of time left for the Pacers. Down 14 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Come all the way back. Tyrese Haliburton, toe on the line, a la Kevin Durant in his Brooklyn years against Milwaukee. Forces OT at 125, and then in overtime, the Pacers escape with the victory to force a 1-0 advantage for them. What was your takeaway from that game?
Just how good the Pacers offense really is. They're the number one offense in the league for a reason. Just the entire playoffs, Tyrese Haliburton has been, his core vision has been out of this fucking world this postseason. And, in Game 1, I thought that was really on display. Obviously, it feels like there's just comeback after comeback happening with these Pacers. I mean, the end of that game might be one of the best endings we've ever seen. I mean, how do you? That's so tough. That's so tough.
If it had been a 3, though, it would have been so much better. I mean, if it had been,
they should have just counted it.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, just on Aura alone, just give him the extra point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Reggie Miller pointing at him. I mean, it was everything that a fan could have asked for in that moment.
Yep.
I kind of
Aaron Nesmith, man.
Oh.
Aaron Nesmith. I mean, God, was that the best fourth quarter we've ever seen
20,
in the postseason?
20 points in the fourth quarter for Aaron Nesmith. Had 10 going in, 8 of 9 from 3.
That's got to be a record.
8 of 9 of 3.
Is that a record?
I don't know if that's a record. I feel like Tracy McGrady did something crazier than that. There's been some scorers that have probably put up more than 20 points in a fourth quarter. I think maybe I think if you pair that with like the shooting efficiency from 3, 8 of 9, which is incredibly high, maybe that would put him as like the best fourth quarter efficiency wise from distance plus the points. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if you team them together, maybe the best. What do you find?
But here it is. Here it is. He holds. Where is it? Aaron Nesmith is the first player in NBA history to make 6 3-point field goals in the fourth quarter of a playoff game.
Without missing.
And then he had the most points in a 5-minute span
Okay.
in playoff history.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
No, it was fantastic. I look when that game was dwindling down, I had it double boxed with the Dallas Stars Edmonton Oilers hockey game on my YouTube TV. Had the double box going on because in that game too, Dallas scored 5 goals in that third period after they went into that period down 3-1. So we had two amazing final segments of games going on simultaneously. The hockey was kind of less exciting late because they got up 2 goals there late and it kind of seemed over. But this game, what was very special. I just love the Timothy Chalamet angle as well. I like the fact that they're focusing on him being there because he's not a bandwagon fan. He's one of the true actors out there that really knows ball. Timothy Chalamet knows ball.
He knows ball.
He knows ball. So I mean that's impressive to me when you have guys that are so good at the craft that they do for their career and they also have that NBA fanatic brain as well. I love that because it makes them more human. Because we look at actors and musicians as and athletes in a vacuum as like these really kind of robotic creatures that are just really good at like one thing, but they're human and most of the time they got really lame hobbies. And I really think that I don't even really am not like a big Timothy Chalamet guy. Like, didn't see the Dune movies. Like, crucify me
Dude,
for
he's
it.
my favorite.
Crucify me for it. But he's climbing to the top of my list just because he knows ball. I mean, my man knows ball.
Oh man, you gotta get on his catalog, man. Now I'm not gonna say the Dune movies are my favorite. That's definitely more of a big picture kind of thing. But some of his other works, he's in Interstellar. I love that movie.
Okay, I'll give him that.
Beautiful Boy, that's a great movie. He's in some Wes Anderson films. The man, he's got talent. He's got a catalog. You gotta hop in.
Yeah, I gotta brush up on that. Also a big fan of his Bob Dylan biopic, right? That's another one a lot of people really rave about.
That was a good movie.
So yeah, I'll give it up to him. Game 2 of this series, though, Zach, happened what, last night? It was just it seemed like the Knicks were going to kind of do a reverse on the Pacers. Not as big of a deficit, but they were behind. It seemed like the whole game. It was back and forth kind of in that middle area. And then in the end, the Pacers looked like they were going to run away with it. Then Jalen Brunson hits that 3 and then feeds Hart underneath with 20 seconds to go to cut the lead to 1. And then you have him grabbing onto the jersey of Aaron Nesmith, as it looked like to me, Zach, that ball was going to be thrown out of bounds by Tyrese Haliburton, even if he didn't grab the jersey. I don't think that Nesmith catches that ball in bounds if Brunson doesn't grab a whole entire unexcusable you couldn't miss it handful of jersey. What were your thoughts on that play in particular? Do you think that ball was headed out of bounds, or do you think Nesmith makes that catch and they just foul him like they normally would?
That's a tough call. I think it's probably going out.
Yeah. Which
he's a little off balance. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if he wouldn't have held onto the jersey as long and kind of would have let him go, I think they wouldn't have called it. I think it would have been a turnover. But regardless, Nesmith goes down and he's got big balls, hits both free throws. And then I just don't understand Brunson sometimes, man. I mean, pulling up from 30 in transition. I mean,
I don't take that shot. What is that shot, Valentine? What is that shot, Valentine?
It's bad. It's bad. Well, here's what they were saying. They were saying, well, maybe he thought they were going to intentionally foul and was like, I got to get this off quick before they wrap me up. But I mean, it didn't seem like the Pacers were going to do that. It seemed like they were willing to play that out, because I feel like if you're the Pacers, right, like you're fine. If he hits that and you lose in overtime, you're still fine with stealing one of those games in the Garden. Like, you don't want that, but I feel like you're not really in that we've got to win this to regain home court advantage kind of mindset. And I just feel like Rick Carlisle is kind of one of those guys. It's like, I just play straight up. I just feel like he's more of a play straight up kind of coach. He's not very analytical, I don't feel like.
No, I don't think so. But listen, that Jalen Brunson shot, just terrible. I'm looking at the play-by-play here. It had He had 8 seconds left, and he takes a 29-footer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're down 3. You take the 29-footer with 8 seconds left. I don't understand that shot. I don't understand that shot at all. You got to get offense going. You got 8 seconds. You can get someone open. You can get someone open.
Well, they had a
I would try
timeout
to get
too.
Mikal Bridges open.
They
I would
had
try to get Mikal Bridges open. I would. I mean, I feel like he's probably your shooter in this situation. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's the clutch guy, but if the Pacers, actually they did this. They sent to it Brunson as they should have. So I don't understand that shot. I think he could have got someone open, especially Bridges, get a much better shot, even if it's not open, just a better shot.
Yeah.
One that's not 29 feet away, one that's not out of rhythm off the dribble. Just not the shot you take there.
Yeah.
I mean, and at the very least, you get in the lane, get a 2. You can still foul. You have a little bit of time. You can get a shot and a foul off in 8 seconds.
And you almost got a turnover last time. Who says they wouldn't turn it over again? That's the other thing.
I don't understand that.
Lot
is
of
that coaching? But was that Jalen Brunson or was that Tibbs? What do you think?
No, it wasn't Tibbs. Tibbs wouldn't. And Tibbs had a timeout in his pocket too. I mean, he could have seen that Jalen was gonna do something crazy and called timeout. I mean,
he should have been there ready to take it. I mean, once
he crossed the timeline, you got it. I mean, because if you draw something up for him out of the side, out of bounds, you have a higher likelihood of being able to get a better shot off at least. And I just think I don't think Tibbs was happy with that. I don't think that Tibbs planned on that happening. And, sure, Josh Hart almost got the offensive board, but he didn't. Miles Turner ended up getting it, and you foul him. He goes down and hits a pair as well. And then you had Brunson just nothing but backboard, almost break it, slamming the ball off of it with a fading, drifting from right to left 3 ball that was just way uglier than the last shot. I mean, it's my question to you though here, Zach, is even though they're down 0-2, and remember Cleveland was down 0-2 to the Pacers as well, and they came back to Indianapolis and drubbed the Pacers on their home floor in Game 3 by like 40 points almost. The Knicks, I don't think have that kind of firepower in them because their defense is so bad, but I do think they do have the capabilities of stealing one of these in Indianapolis. I don't think this series is sweep ready yet. I just don't feel like it is. I feel like we're looking at least a 5 or 6 game series. I feel like that if the Knicks can win one on the road, they probably win their next one at home, and you probably have the Pacers winning in game 6 on their home floor. I mean, what are your thoughts on this direction of the series? Is this sweet? Is the brooms ready to be out here? Do you have any faith that the Knicks have a chance of taking one of these on the road?
I mean, listen, I've had a lot of faith in the Pacers. You know this. I picked them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I beat them. I picked them to beat Cleveland. I'm taking them in 6 again. Listen, I don't believe I had them beating Boston, but we're not in that scenario anymore.
No.
Boston's not here. An Achilles is torn.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. So against these Knicks, especially after seeing what happened in those first 2 games, one, the ability for the Pacers to just outwill the Knicks in the fourth quarter in the first game, and then being able to withstand and hold a lead pretty much the entire game in Game 2. I think the Pacers take care of this in 6. Knicks probably get one on the road. I think the Knicks get Game 5, but yeah, I think I'm with you. Pacers win 3 or 4, probably Game 3 or 4, and win one in Game 6, win it at home. And we get a Tyrese Haliburton finals berth. And, I think some conversations have to be had about Tyrese Haliburton, kind of where he's at in the league in terms of point guards. He just made the All-NBA 3rd team. I don't know if you want to touch on these All-NBA teams.
Overrated.
I think he should have been All-NBA 2nd team. This guy's the real deal. I'm pretty sure he led the league in assists. I mean, it might have been Trae Young.
I think it was Trae Young that led the league in assists again. He's kind of the guy for that. But no, he's top 5 at least.
Nine range.
He's top 5 at least. I mean, what is your perspective on the overrated thing? 14 players in the NBA say he's the most overrated player in the NBA. What do you think went into that? Because for me, I think it's just his cockiness. I think that's really what it is. I think that's all it is. I don't think it's skill. I don't think it's anything. I think it's just he's cocky, and he is. Like, I mean, he's proven he is. Mm-hmm. He gets it from his daddy. And free pops, by the way, free pops.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a product of how the new age NBA fan thinks about the game. I think if you have been on Twitter, X or whatever, at all around the NBA postseason, you can see that most of the people that are making tweets or whatever are not actually watching these
Yeah,
basketball
casuals.
games.
Yeah, casuals.
Yeah, casual. Well, not even just casuals. Like they're just straight up not watching,
Oh,
and they're looking at
the
the real
highlights
app.
after the game. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
the
looking at the
highlights.
real
Yeah.
app. They're not looking at anything else. So I think it's kind of a product of that. So like some of these NBA players these days are also, you gotta remember all these
They're
NBA
young.
players
Yeah,
were
they're
once
young. Yeah,
fans.
they're
Yeah,
young.
they were once fans. Some of them probably look at Tyrese Haliburton's stats and they're like, oh, he's not averaging 25 points.
Yeah, so he's a bum. Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's a bum. He's
Or
overrated.
he's just a distributor or whatever.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
yeah, meanwhile he's like top 5 in assists, 50, leading the 50-win team, now 2 wins away from the NBA
Yeah.
Finals.
And
I mean,
7-0 in
could
clutch
say he's
games.
overrated.
7-0 in clutch games are the Pacers.
He's already like top 10 in playoff buzzer beaters. Like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane what he's
Yeah.
done this postseason in terms of clutch moments. And at this point, he's probably the most underrated player in the NBA. Like, he is him. He's him.
Do you think he was aware of what of that title, and do you think he took it personally, as I say? You think he was like, I'm taking this, or do you think he's oblivious to it and doesn't care?
I think he probably knew it. I mean, he is a little cocky, and not to mention he got on Team USA over some people that maybe felt like they deserved it over him.
Do you think that you think that may have factored into it too? Like, some of those 14 players were kind of chumped that like they didn't get the nod over him because of that, maybe.
Yeah, like
I would like to know who it is.
One of those
I would like to know who it is.
Like, if I'm putting money on like who one of those 14 people are, I'm probably saying one of them's Jaylen Brown. I'm probably saying the other one is Kyrie Irving.
I wouldn't surprise me, especially Kyrie,
Lillard,
especially
Damian Lillard. Because him
and
Dame have a thing. They have a little beef.
Yeah, they do have beef.
So I think there's 3 of them right there. And I think it's a little bit of just like how come he's making the USA team and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, and these players are young, and they have it is a fraternity. It is this in the grand scheme of professional sports. It is a smaller collection of players. When you look at team sports, this is the one that limits the roster the most as far as team sports go, and that may bring into the fact that some of these players do hold grudges a little bit longer, because it's kind of the nature of some of these guys to do that. So and so I kind of agree. I think that might have factored into it a little bit. What are your thoughts on just overall the Pops thing? It's time to free Pops. It's time to let Pops come to the home games again.
I don't give a shit. I'm honestly, I'm at the point now where, like, listen, I'm all about the fans getting a little rowdy. I'm all about it. I mean, listen, you've been to games with me. I get rowdy.
Oh yeah.
We're rowdy.
Yeah, we're rowdy.
But like, your court side, you can't be affecting the game. Don't insert yourself into the game.
So give him a box. Give him a box.
Yeah, give him a little box.
Yeah, give him
listen, my dream is to get an NBA warning. Like, that is my dream. Is to get one of those cards. Like, I want one of those so bad. But when you're a parent of the NBA player, you gotta kind of act like you're there, like you've been there before. I understand getting hype. I get it. But dude, he's like, what he did with Giannis was absolutely insane.
Out of pocket as fuck. Out of pocket.
Like, walking up to him and being like,
the towel.
Giannis, he could have squished him.
Oh, could have stepped on him like a roach.
I don't understand how anyone could have the balls to do that to Giannis. Like, that dude is huge.
Yoked. He's so
not to mention, right off of losing a series.
Ooh, like that's bold. Like,
the Giannis has control. I think the only reason Giannis didn't kill that man is because he's already won a title, and he's telling like boys about him.
Dude, if that's Draymond, we're having Malice in the Palace 2.0 happening immediately. I mean,
I think so.
I mean, that's you just can't. I mean, you can't do that. But do you think he was a nightmare? Like, when he was growing up? Like, you think that like YMCA refs like hated his ass too? You think he was that wild during those
Seems
games
like
too?
it. I mean, you can kind of see it a little bit in Tyrese, right? I think there's some of that.
That's what I'm
Some of that
saying. Like,
cockiness.
I think
Yeah.
I feel that's why I think that's why the
Well,
players
if he
voted
listen,
him
my
that
thing,
way.
if he backs it up, I'm all with it.
Yeah, and he has.
No,
You can't say he hasn't this year. You
when
can't
he
say he
doesn't,
hasn't. Yeah,
now if he gets swept
in the
in the finals
finals.
by
Oh,
OKC or
yeah.
something, like
You might.
he's corny
Yeah,
again.
he's
Like,
he's corny. Yeah, he's corny again.
so
It,
as long as he's humble when he loses, we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
we'll see. Let's hop over to the
But yeah, I
Western.
got Pacers in 6.
Okay,
Pacers in
Pacers.
6.
Yeah, we both got Pacers in 6. Still, even though they're down, and even though they're up 2-0. Let's jump over to the Western Conference here. We had Game 7 that we talked about last time we were on here, and Game 7 is done. The Thunder took care of business in Game 7. It was one of those sleepless nights. I didn't sleep much the night before. I was running on fumes, and I knew that most of those players were probably also a little bit more, whatever you want to say. I don't think they lost sleep over it necessarily, but I do think it was in the minds. It was in there. I mean, these guys are young. There's no way you don't recognize what's in front of you and all that stuff. So I think there was that. But hey, I mean, what was the X factor, Zach? It was J-Dub. J-Dub showed up.
Yep.
That was the big thing. And it was a big show out for him. SGA did his thing, but really it was more about what the Nuggets didn't do. And they just, they started off okay, and it's just been the third quarter barrage. It's just been this story of the third quarters for the Thunder team where they start to really show you that separation. And I really have to give it up to Mark Daigneault, because I really think it's these halftime adjustments and rotating these players out and stuff like that, Scott Brooks didn't do it. Billy Donovan didn't do it. They were almost loyal to a fault with their rotations. And I think that Mark has kind of the benefit that those coaches didn't have, where I think he recognizes the talent that he has on the bench depth-wise. I think you can kind of factor that into maybe his willingness to change things up even in the middle of games. And that really, to me, was the X factor, was J-Dub and Mark's coaching. I think that was really what it was.
Yeah. J-Dub had 17 points in the second quarter of Game 7, blew the game wide open. Just came in exactly when we needed him to. And so far in the Western Conference Finals, he's really showed up too. Big fan of J-Dub. Obviously, Game 6, I think most of us were ready to trade him.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, we were just like, we've seen this movie before. We were just like, we've seen this movie before. You're just James Harden again. Yeah. Like, damn it. Like, I mean, like that was
still unacceptable, right? Like, I don't want him to be completely off the hook for scoring 6 points in a game where we could have ended this a little earlier.
Right.
Now, at the end of the day, we win Game 7. We're already 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. I think being in that Game 7 is the turning point for this team, right? I think that game, facing elimination, facing all the pressure of having a 68-win season, letting it fall through. I think that winning that game and J-Dub showing up, Chet having a good game, Lou hitting some big shots, and then SGA doing his thing in Game 7. I think all of that just proves that this team has what it takes to win in the big moments. And that's the experience that people were saying that they were missing, right? Or those pressure situations like, a close game in Game 6 where your second best player is not shooting well. And, starting not too great in a Game 7 and being able to pull through late in the first half and just blow the game wide open. Those are the experience moments that are going to lead to a championship kind of team, even if they fall through and don't win the championship this year, right?
Yeah.
Already having the experience that they do from this postseason run is huge. At minimum, they have 2 more games in the Western Conference Finals, possibly 5 more games. And I'm thinking this team's probably going to be in the finals. And if we don't win the finals, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be favorites to win it next year. It's just the experience that they're gaining. SGA is averaging 29.8 points in these 13 games he's played. And that includes games where he's sitting in the fourth quarter, especially against Memphis, right? He had, 38 points Game 2 in the Western Conference Finals. He is starting to show why he's the MVP. He wins he receives his MVP award before game 2?
Yep.
Right. And he's playing like it, man. He really is playing like it. He is starting to play like the best player in the world. He's so just the efficiency, the consistency. I don't know if I'm ready to put him over Jokic yet, but he's playing like it. I mean, he's playing like the guy that's going to win the Finals MVP.
Yeah, he is playing like that. Let's deep dive here for the Western Conference Finals, right? Game 1, Game 2, both Thunder victories. They protect home court both games. My biggest takeaway so far from this series has just been the lack of three-point shooting, not just from both sides, but it's obviously affected the Timberwolves a lot more than it's affected the Thunder because their defense is so good. They're able to overcome bad shooting from three. It's not something new. We've seen it all playoffs. They've not shot their season average from distance in almost any game that they've played this postseason, except for game 2 against Memphis and game 2 against Denver. Those are the two games that they have actually shot around the percentage that they normally did throughout the regular season from distance. But when you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, you shoot 51 threes in game 1. You only make 15 of them. You have players like Naz Reid, who I've been absolutely terrified of because he is so streaky and that release is so quick. Those closeouts have got to be so quick. I mean, it's almost impossible to guard. You look at Dante DiVincenzo, ever since he's been a part of the Minnesota team, he hasn't averaged more than 3 threes a game all season. So that didn't really surprise me as much. But in the playoffs, it can be different, and we're giving this team open looks. In game 2, Jaden McDaniels was good from 3. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was good from 3. Those are players that you can kind of allow to do that because you had in game 2, Julius Randle only scores 6 points. He goes 2 of 11 from the floor. He disappears from his great first half he had in game 1 where he just couldn't miss from outside. But ever since that second half of game 1, they've completely taken him out of the game as far as an offensive threat. And obviously most of that is Julius Randle's fault. We're just not making shots. But when you're going up to Minnesota here for game 3, Zach, you've got to think that a lot of these things are going to change. And that's why I think me and you both agree that Minnesota's probably going to have a really good chance of getting one at home because some of these guys that have been struggling from distance are going to hit. And for the Thunder, we haven't really seen them go on the road and shoot their season average from 3 and do anything like that. But their defense has been so good. Maybe it is the fact that we're flying around like a swarm of bees and those wide open threes from our perspective sitting on the couch, those players are like, there's a guy coming in the next half second. I feel like maybe they're rushing him anyways, Yeah.
So, I mean, my thing about, you just got to look at the numbers. The numbers tell the story here for this series. First, I want to say, if there were an MVP award for the second round, it would have gone to Alex Caruso for exactly what you said. And it's that swarming ability to just disrupt everything. So the first stat I want to point out comes from game 1, points off of turnovers. OKC scored 31 points off of turnovers.
They smoke it with pot,
Minnesota,
baby.
Yeah. And Minnesota scored 10 points off of turnovers, right? They had 19 turnovers. OKC had 15. They should have had more points off of turnovers, but OKC's ability to get back on defense and disrupt those fast break opportunities is insane. Get this. OKC, 12 fast break points in game 1. Minnesota, 0. You can't get a fast break opportunity, you're not winning a game. And that's, in the blowout. So game 2 was less of a blowout, only a 15-point win. But, this is a game where neither team shot well from 3, right? We're shooting 27%. They're shooting 28%. We shot 50% from the field just because we have a lot more, points in the paint. We finally out-rebounded a team, which, is insane. We're finally getting rebounds. But once again, we get 22 points off of turnovers. They get 10 points. We get 16 fast break points. They get 9. It's just an effort thing. This team swarms the ball on defense. They get turnovers, they get fast break points, and they limit fast break points, and they limit points off of turnovers. So even when they're making mistakes, Minnesota's not really able to capitalize off them. Now, game 1 was such a blowout, and we blew this game wide open in the second half because we shot 52% from 3. And I don't think that's going to happen again. 11 of 21. I liked that we're only shooting 21 threes. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. We're not the 3-point shooting team that Mark thinks we are. I know that we shot well in the regular season, but we're shooting high percentages because we're getting open looks. And I'd rather be in the paint if we're not able to get those open looks. One thing about Minnesota, they probably have the best perimeter defense in the league outside of OKC, right? I mean, they're able, Jaden McDaniels, Nikhil Alexander Walker, like these guys, even Ant, like these guys are able to swarm the perimeter. It's really, I think, the secret to blowing this series wide open, and the secret to OKC getting one on the road, is the fact that Rudy Gobert loves to play in drop coverage, right?
Yeah.
He's always going to sink down. And what is the number one weapon we have against that? Isaiah Hartenstein floaters.
Yep.
Isaiah Hartenstein floater. That's what we saw in game 1, and we saw it in game 2. Isaiah Hartenstein, his ability to get that floater off when Rudy Gobert is playing in drop coverage. It's just gonna be there. He went 6 for 8 in game 1, and I'm pretty sure all of those were either floaters or dunks. Let me check game 2 here, because I think he had more in game 2. Game 2, oh no, I'm wrong. He went 3 for 5 in game 2. Pretty much all floaters, all dunks. Minnesota's just not really able to cover our bigs when when we have that floater there pretty much all the time. So one thing that I think they tried to do to counter it in game 1 was play some zone. That didn't work. First time they played zone, Lou had a back cut dunk. Because Rudy's just not able to get over that quick. And if he's having to worry about Isaiah Hartenstein's floater, he's not able to get to that dunker spot. They have to make choices, and they have to concede either a corner 3 or a dunk there. And I like our opportunities on both. So it's really a combination of us shooting well and being able to spread out their defense so that we're able to utilize that dunker spot or force Rudy into drop coverage. And also the fact that Minnesota's just not shooting well. I mean, they're just not hitting shots. And I think you're right that they're probably going to steal one, or not steal one because it's their home court, but it's going to feel like it. But they're probably going to win one on their home floor because they're going to start shooting well, like they did, I think, in the first half of game 1. It felt like they were hitting everything in the first half of game 1.
No, mainly just Julius Randle, but yeah.
So I like our chances to be up 3-1. I'm hoping we can steal game 3 tonight, make it 3-0. That will just make me feel so comfortable. If we have a 3-0 lead, I already don't feel like this team can be beaten 4 times in 5 games. I just don't think that can happen to OKC. I feel like if you give us 5 games, we're winning at least 2 of them, no matter who the opponent is. So, man, if we can go up 3-0 tonight, I'm getting ready to go to the finals.
Yeah, and the other thing is just when they play that zone, that free throw area, we're so good at getting somebody there. Alex Caruso had back-to-back little mid-range jumpers where Rudy didn't come out on him because, like you said, he's playing that drop coverage. And, he had just 2 little easy baskets. Them with those. And that's what you got to do. I think that we are looking at a team, and I don't say this very often, but I'm looking at a team that I think would have been still really a really good team in the early 2000s. Because we, like you said, we're not taking a lot of threes right now. We're focusing on in the paint in those mid-range shots, and Shea is a mid-range master. So that's, obviously leaning into the ability to defeat that zone. And when they're playing man, the switches are so egregious. I was looking back at game 2, and it's just, you have Ant guarding Chet. Like, what the hell is that switch? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even the
you can't do that against OKC.
And the miscommunication, like, you can watch the play where I'm talking about, where Ant's on Chet and Naz Reid is on Alex Caruso, and Ant is telling Naz Reid to switch, and Naz Reid doesn't hear him and goes to guard Chet with Ant, and they leave Caruso wide open, and they dump it down to him, and then Caruso dumps it down to Lou Dort for a layup. I mean, it was because then the big guy was forced to come out. It was just one of those things where it's like the communication on defense for the Timberwolves has not been good either, and that is also because we have so many weapons on the floor. Rudy Gobert has almost been played completely off the floor. I think that if I'm Chris Finch, I'm playing Naz Reid at the 5 to start this thing, and I'm going small because I don't think you have a choice other than to outscore us. I don't think that there is a way where Rudy Gobert fits in this equation where it helps you right now. I know that he's supposedly a rim protector, and maybe you still start him just to see how it goes, but the decision to pull him is going to be made early because I think that you're going to have to just try to stretch and play 5 out in order to try to beat us. I don't think there's anything they can do. Their defense has not been playing well enough to contain us, and offensively, like you said, they haven't been shooting well. I just don't know what you do if you're Chris Finch.
Listen, I mean, I don't think you bench Rudy. I think you need his rim protection. If I'm Chris Finch, what I'm doing is I'm forcing OKC to hit their shots, right? Like they haven't, really, the Thunder haven't shot very well in this postseason, shooting way below average than what they were in the regular season. They shot well in game 1, but I mean, other than that, you're still not seeing great percentages, under 30% most games for OKC. So I'm forcing them to hit their shots. I'm willing to give up corner threes, similar to how OKC does. If anything, actually, if I'm Chris Finch, I'm copying what OKC does, right? I'm going to let Rudy stay low and drop coverage, but I'm packing the paint. Every time there's a drive, I'm packing the paint. I'm going to force OKC to kick out and hit their shots. If they hit their shots, they hit their shots. There's really not much else you can do against OKC. But going back to what you said about, switching, right? And how that's kind of detrimental to the Wolves because everyone is a weapon on OKC from pretty much everywhere except iHeart. He's not going to shoot.
Yeah, he's not a jumper threat.
But so you have Ant switching on to Chet, and Ant's not going to be able to guard that. That doesn't happen for OKC. There is nobody that can just not guard anybody on the Timberwolves. And I mean, even Lou on Rudy Gobert, I don't hate that matchup. I don't. And even SGA, if he got switched onto Rudy, I don't hate that matchup just because of how active these guys are.
Yeah, Rudy ain't got no hands. He's got no hands.
Yeah. But I go back to that one play, right, where Julius Randle, he gets the ball down low. He puts up a shot. He gets his offensive, or he doesn't put up a shot, but he catches the ball down low. He's got SGA on him. That's an easy back down, right? But Lou Dort sees the mismatch from across the court, from the weak side. He comes over. As soon as Julius Randle catches the ball and turns around to start pounding, Lou's right there. Boom, it's over. And that's why I'm not scared of any switching, because even when you try to take advantage of the mismatch, OKC is communicating so well and their instincts are just so good on the defensive end of the floor that if there is a mismatch, they're going to get doubled. And even though someone should be open, the rotations are so pure and the rotations are so quick that, if anyone is open, it's going to be Rudy.
That's fine. That's fine.
These guys, this is the best defense I have ever seen. And I'm including the 04 Pistons in this. This is the greatest defense I have ever seen, especially when you're talking about the era that we're in, when you have so many stretch bigs and you have people like Julius Randle pulling up from 40 in game 1,
water, wet like
the
water.
Fact that this defense the fact that this defense is able to hold them in those situations, it's just insane to me. It's just insane. This team is so good. They're so good. The defense is so good.
Yeah,
help me out here. Have you ever seen a better defense than this? Ever?
As far as creating turnovers and opportunities like that, no, I don't think I have. I mean, and it's just, and the stats will back it up for you. This is literally one of the greatest teams of all time, and people don't want to give us that credit because we're not flashy enough. It literally comes down to we're boring to watch. We're our games are boring, and there's no flashiness, and we're just it just seems like we don't have a guy that's just yakking on somebody all the time. We have a team that goes out there and does their job, which is win basketball games, play hard defense, and give the ball to the open man. It's the most simplistic style of basketball you could possibly ask a team to play, and most teams don't have the luxury of doing that because they don't have the roster to support that kind of play style. and we do. And I think that's why people are like, well, we can't put, even though the numbers would suggest we're the greatest team of all time as far as game differential, point differential, turnover differential, all these things that, we're at the top of the list, not just for this season, but literally, like you said, all time. And people don't want to give us that nod because we're not exciting. I can understand.
I don't buy that at all, though.
I mean,
I think we're exciting.
I know, but I mean, but I'm saying that's what I'm hearing. Like, that's what I'm hearing from the mainstream media. Is the question was posed to several podcasts and several mainstream people that have been on ESPN and Fox. Is this, if they win the finals, is this one of the greatest teams of all time? And they're saying no, because we're boring. And I'm just like, I just don't. I mean, I get that, like, you think we're boring because we're blowing teams out. We have a point differential in the playoffs of 15 points or something. Like, I get that, and I get that those 50 and 40 point blowouts inflate that number a little bit, but even if you take that away, it's still double digits. I mean, we have won, if you include the playoffs, 60 games by 15 or more points. That's incredible. That is incredible. If you can,
Dude, we're 78-17 right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. And the thing is yeah, you don't want to tip the cap because we don't have a guy that just, we don't have a LeBron, or we don't have, a Steph Curry that's shooting 12 threes a game and hitting 10. Like, sure, we don't have those guys, but we cook those teams. We cook those teams. You know why? Because none of those guys have a team around them that can do what we do defensively. And I think that this defense creating offense narrative that is so blatantly obvious with us has been shoved into these casual fans or big market fans that didn't get to watch our games. Because I'll be honest, we have been done a disservice by the NBA not having a lot of national televised games. And the ones that we have had, yeah, we've taken care of business most of the time, except for that Cavs game that was still a great game, but it was like, we lost, but it was still a great game to watch. Those games,
and we won the game after it.
Yeah. I mean, those games are games that people see, but we only have 9 games that were televised nationally all year long, which is a disservice to one of the greatest teams statistically of all time. And I think if we finish the job this year and get it done the way everything points to us doing, I think next year you're going to see a huge change in that. Because, again, like you said, we're going to be the favorites next year and probably the year after that, too. There is a lot of room here for us to continue this dynasty narrative if we can get this first one taken care of. Now, I get that the West could be stacked. I get that Giannis could be going to the Spurs, and they got the number 2 pick, and Cooper Flagg's going to the Mavs, and they've got Kyrie, and they've got Anthony Davis. Like, I get that the West is getting better. I understand that. But the thing that they don't have that we've got is that defense, man. Like, you can have those guys. Go ahead, have them. Kyrie is old. AD is old. I mean, LeBron is absolutely ancient. I mean, we are not talking about, Giannis older, not old. I don't think he's 30 yet, but I mean, he's older. I mean,
he's 30.
Is he? Okay. I mean, again, these are guys that aren't going to be, be able to run with some of these young guns that aren't even 26 yet. I mean, it's just going to be this thing where our frenetic pace that we play at is going to be something that these other teams just aren't going to be able to hang with like they used to. They might look on paper like they could compete, but when it comes down to brass tacks, they're just not going to be able to hang with our pace. And that's what makes me excited about the potential finals matchup between us and the Pacers, because we both love to run, and we both got some young guys on that roster that are really talented, and we all have guys at all 5 positions that can score the basketball in double digits, and any night can be any of those players' nights. That is something that I am excited about. So go ahead and tell me, Zach, is there any scenario here where you see the Thunder not finishing this thing off in 5? Because I don't.
I mean, they would have to shoot horribly. Are you talking about this series or the Pacers series?
This series. I mean,
okay.
they would have to shoot
they
horribly.
Would have to shoot terrible. I think I'm taking OKC in 5. I'm leaning closer to 4 than I am to 6, and that we're just beating the hell out of them, really. Even if they have a good first quarter or a good first half, they led us by 4 points in game 1, and we won by what?
20.
What is that? 26.
26. Yeah.
We won by 26. After being down by 4. I don't see a world that we lose. I don't think we. I think we lose max 1 game in this series. I think it's Thunder in 5. I want to address the elephant in the room here, because we all know why people say OKC is boring, right? We all know it's because SGA shoots free throws, and they think that he's foul baiting. I don't think it's any worse than anyone else we've ever seen. Not to mention the fact when you look at him compared to other historically great guards, from even like the 80s on to, Kobe, LeBron, who, I think
Can
is a
play any
guard, and,
position. Yeah, can
like
play any
Dwayne
position.
Wade,
Yeah.
like Dwayne Wade, like all Michael Jordan, like all of these guys are getting 9+ free throws a game in their best seasons and their MVP seasons. They're getting 9 to up to like 11 free throws in a game. You know why those guys earlier in the 2000s or like the 90s were getting that many? Because they were driving to the basket and getting fouled because you couldn't stay in front of them. If you have a Kobe matchup one-on-one, he's blowing by you. You have to put your arm across him like this,
And that's a
which
foul.
is a foul.
That's a foul. Yeah.
Like, that's a foul.
And you've
just
seen,
because
yeah.
SGA is so good at, here's the thing that people don't understand, right? When you have the ball and you're driving to the paint, you are allowed to grab the ball with both hands, and anything that prevents you from doing that is a foul. So if you put their arm across them and they're right there on your body, even if you're not really stopping them, if he can get his arm under that defender and he tries to then gather the ball with his arm hooked right there, that's a foul, because you can't stop him with your arm out like a clothesline. You can't stop him like that. You have to stay in front of him. So, and another problem is people don't understand that you get a line. Like, if you establish a line to the basket as the driver, you get that line. And if the guy in front of you is blocking you, that's a blocking foul, unless they have a good set position and you draw a charge or an offensive foul off of that. So people just don't understand that SGA just knows the rules. I mean, this is what great players do. If you can't stay in front of them, they get fouled so that they don't get easy opportunities at the bucket, and they have to earn it at the free throw line. That is the reason why Jaden McDaniels is getting hooked, right? Because he cannot stay in front of SGA. He stays in front of SGA better than just about anyone, but I don't think anybody can actually stay in front of SGA for 48 minutes, right?
Yeah, his blow by is great.
Yeah, so he's getting these clotheslines, right? Because you don't let him go and blow. You don't let him blow by you. Like, you don't let him bring Rudy up so that there's an easy dunk, or you don't let him just get into the paint and get an easy layup, possibly an and one. Like, so you're gonna try to stop him from getting to the rim, and SGA is gonna punish you for that. So that's why I think Minnesota really needs to double SGA more than they have been. And I know that they're sending guys to help. If he does get blown by, I think you got to have two guys in his face, because otherwise he's going to draw a foul. He's either drawing a foul or he's getting by you. So I don't understand the whole free throw thing. I think people just don't know ball.
Here's the thing that bothers me about the free throw thing is, at the end of the day, which team is shooting more free throws than us? Every other team. Yeah. If you look at the total free throws that a team shoots compared to us, like, sure, SGA got 15 free throws last game, but guess who had 2 more free throw attempts than us? The Timberwolves as a team. Like, as a team, we do not get more free throws than the people that we play. We foul a bunch. We get more fouls called on us because of the defensive style that we play than these other teams. So why are you crying? You're going to the line as a team more than he's going to the line, and that's just facts. Like, that's just, you can't hide that. That's just an obvious black and white, look at the numbers fact. There's been very few games in this playoffs and in the regular season where the Thunder have shot more free throws as a team than their opponent. And that's just blatant. Yeah. You can't say that even if Shea's getting 10 free throws to 15 free throws a game, it's not affecting the game the way you think it is. Sure, it affects his numbers and it affects how many points he has at the end of the day in the box score, but when your team is shooting more free throws than the Thunder, you can't say anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, regular season, we had one of the worst free throw differentials in the game because, I mean, some people are right. Yeah, we foul a lot. Like, Alex Caruso, yes, he's fouling a lot, but he knows what he can get away with. And I think that's the problem that people don't understand is that the Thunder players that are, are huge perimeter defenders, Lou, Alex Caruso, Kaysen, like they understand what they can get away with. And they do get called for a lot of fouls, which is why our free throw differential is so bad in the regular season. So I don't understand, one, why Chris Finch complains about it so much when they could do the same. However, then you get the comment where people say that OKC is allowed to foul and the other teams aren't. That's bullshit.
Because of the free throws. Yeah, because of the fucking.
Like, the reason that we're getting free throws is because you can't stay in front of SGA. Like, most of our free throws, yes, are coming from SGA because you just can't guard them.
Yeah.
And like that's just what happens. You just can't guard them.
Yeah.
Now, the free throws that OKC is giving to the other team are
because we're over the limit. Because they're in the bonus.
Because we're over the limit.
They're in the bonus.
Or like
because we're reaching. Because we reach in and iHeart gets 2 illegal screens and we're reaching. Like we're reaching. Like I mean, like
yeah, and that's okay. So I understand the complaints when like they can do the same.
Yeah.
So and here's the thing. Listen, I sent out a tweet about this. People think that like the NBA wants OKC to win. It's fucking Oklahoma City. Like it's Oklahoma. Adam Silver is dreading this dynasty. Like he hates it. Nobody wants to watch OKC because 1, we're not located in Los Angeles, and 2, we're not located in New York, and 3, we're not located in Texas. So nobody's gonna fucking watch. I mean, I think that like that's where most of your casuals live, right? That's the population centers. I mean, I'm expecting a call to be put in so New York gets to the finals because god damn it, if Indiana and OKC are in the finals, Adam Silver is gonna have a fucking heart attack. That's literally, I'm pretty sure those are the 2 smallest markets in the NBA.
The farm finals, baby.
New Orleans,
the farm finals.
Like, maybe New Orleans is a smaller market. I don't know.
Oh, no way. Like, no way. They've got
Indianapolis and Oklahoma City is like a terrible finals in terms of ratings. That's just because people don't care about basketball. They care about entertainment. They care about narratives. So I'm fully expecting Adam to make a call for New York. But that aside from that, I just don't understand why people would think that Adam would want Oklahoma City to be the team.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like,
yeah, it's
he wants Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
he wants that.
Yeah,
he wants that personality. He wants the guy that's in the Gatorade commercials. He wants the guy with the cool fucking Adidas commercials and nobody else is touching. Like
or the Sprite commercials.
Like,
Sprite commercials.
Yeah, like dude, Ant's commercials are amazing, and I think he's probably the face of the league in terms of entertainment.
Absolutely.
But he's just not going to beat OKC, and if anything, I think the refs are against OKC with some of the fouls that are getting called out here. I mean, especially against the Nuggets, I thought it was crazy what some of the fouls that Jokic was getting. But hey, people say that about OKC, so I'm not going to complain. But I just hate the narrative that like the refs want OKC to win. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. There's no benefit to it in any way, shape, or form in those categories you mentioned. There's no upside for the NBA in any way, shape, or form if it comes down to the farm finals. I just don't see that being something that people are going to be gung-ho about. But the thing is that series will be pretty entertaining. So let's go ahead and just kind of give this last little segment to kind of where we see the finals shaping up here. I think both of us have Indiana and Oklahoma City moving on to the NBA finals. Is that what you've got right now as well?
Yeah, I got Indiana winning in 6. I got OKC winning in 5.
Yep. I mean, I'm with you on both of those. I think we're both on the same page there. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? Anything you want to kind of touch on before we skeetle on and prep here for the next hour and a half?
I mean, I'm hoping that we can pull out, game 3 here, because, a 3-1 lead sounds way worse than a 3-0 lead, in my opinion. So I'm gonna need everybody to put their money on Minnesota.
I did.
Guilty. OKC wins. Because we all know that we're not winning our bets.
No, I've same game parlayed the Minnesota money line with like all of the overs for all the Minnesota role players. So I mean we're probably looking at a W.
The line's like 2.5.
It's real low. It's real low.
Like that scares me.
I mean, but they,
Like
I
two and a
think
half.
that's Vegas also admitting that they expect Minnesota to shoot better. I think that the role players, like you said, I don't think there's any way Julius Randle scores less than 10 points. I don't see that happening. I think he'll come back with a vengeance. I think he'll get his, but at what cost? Does that mean that your role players aren't getting theirs? There's going to be some give and take here. But I think, like you said, I think this series is probably 5. Indiana's probably 6, and in Indiana, if they go up 3-0 against the Knicks, I could see 5 there too. But it's going to, like you said, I think the Knicks kind of have a little bit more juice than Minnesota does right now as far as being able to come back from this deficit. And I think the numbers back that up. So yeah, I think we're both on the same page here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're getting ready for that parade.
I'm
Honestly,
I'm
that's how I'm
ready.
feeling.
I'm ready for a parade, baby. I'm ready to ask off of work and absolutely get just all sorts of messed up. So hey, for all of you guys listening, watching, and keeping tabs on the NBA playoffs, we'll see you for the next episode. Thunder up, baby, and good night, Canada.